with that, I'm going to introduce Vicki. Vicki Scribner, she's from Open Arms, and she's got a phenomenal story to tell us of what she does at Open Arms. So let's welcome Vicki.
Whoops. I'll just have all my hands going. Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me out today. I met Beverly, I don't know, about a month ago, and it has been a whirlwind, and thank you so much. Oh my goodness, and when her arm's not broken and all that, oh my. So anyway, my name, as she says, Vicki. I've been the executive director at Open Arms Real Choices Clinic for a little over a year. I have been with Open Arms for 10 years. I stepped in the doors. First of all, does anybody not know who we are? Awesome. So I stepped through the doors this summer of 2016 to check out possibly volunteering there. And I think the Lord just grabbed my heart and said, this is where you belong. Back then we were very, very small. There was about 5 staff members and maybe 5 or 6 volunteers answering the phone, everything. So I've had the honor of growing from then up through the ranks, and now we have a very large staff, well, not huge, but we have 17 on staff and about 60 volunteers. And so I've had my hands in every aspect of the ministry when it was really small to where we are today. And it is such an honor and privilege, and it's my heart. And God has called me to this, and I'm in until He calls me out. So to keep me on track, because I do rabbit trail a lot and get really excited, I did bring a PowerPoint. So, we are 25 years old this year. And in November, if you are interested, on November the 13th, we will have our 25th anniversary celebration dinner at the Kootenai Resort. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. And when you learn about all we do and see where your money goes, it's a very worthy cause. So we are a Christian life-affirming ministry. We're unashamed of the gospel, and we pray for opportunities to share the gospel in every single appointment. And as I said, we are 100% partner supported. We don't take any money from the government. We don't want our hands tied. We don't, we're totally run by our community, and very, very grateful for that. Our mission statement says that we are a Christ-centered ministry revealing God's design for human life, sexual integrity, and reproductive health. We help individuals in Northern Idaho make life-affirming choices through education, compassionate support, and pregnancy-related services. Our vision, mission is who we are, vision is what we desire. To bring a culture of life to Northern Idaho where Jesus is proclaimed, human sexuality is celebrated in marriage between a biological man and a biological woman, and where every human life conceived is recognized as sacred and every child is welcomed. And that is our current staff. Like I said, when I started, I was number 6 to be hired on staff, and this is where we are today. So back in the day, I had my hands in every little thing, and today we have directors that run different departments, and so thankful that we have grown our programs to where we are today. We are able to serve so much more than we did back in the day when I was new. So we know that those that we serve come in with their own they have their own values, beliefs, and hopes. They may not be the same as ours, but we know that they are all created in God's image. The Bible tells us so. And so we treat them like that. We want to know that they are special and precious in His sight, and there's no judgment. We will help anybody that needs help. Even if they don't agree with us and we don't agree with them, we love them because God loved everybody. He died for everybody. So we want to serve from that stance. We also know that when people come in to see us, many times, especially with an unplanned pregnancy, they're suffering from all kinds of emotions. We don't know how they're feeling. We serve a lot of people that want to be pregnant, and they're happy, and they're married. They just need free services. That's fine. But when somebody finds out by surprise they're pregnant, there's all kinds of emotions. So we want to walk alongside them and just let them know this is a safe place. We love you. We're here to help you. What do you need? And then we also know that they have many, many pressures in their lives that create fear. And one of the biggest reasons a woman chooses abortion is because of fear. women statistically, I mean, we're biologically made to be mothers. The baby inside of us, our DNA is one. I mean, the baby's DNA and the mother's DNA become one, and we inherently don't want to kill our baby. It's fear. It's the fear. You know, she's afraid she can't do this on her own because the boyfriend's going to leave her, or her parents are going to kick her out, or she can't finish school, or whatever. So we want to understand what pressures she has in her life causing these fears so we can address them. Now, all of our services are, what happened? All of our services are 100% confidential, and so we protect our medical records and files. We can help women in abusive situations. The way we operate, if a woman comes in our clinic for services and she's with somebody, they stay in the main waiting room. She comes in the clinic. We talk with her for a few minutes. We want to make sure she's safe. That's not an abusive boyfriend out there, or that's not her mom trying to tell her she has to have an abortion or whatever. So we do protect our clients' privacy and safety. And we do have connections in the community if somebody's in danger. And we serve many ages. The youngest client I've seen since I've been there was 14, and the oldest was 42, I believe. She had 8 children, and everybody's telling her she shouldn't have any more kids. She needs to abort that baby. And she wanted to be pregnant. She liked her big family. So we deal with stuff like that, and they need to be heard. You know, out in society, people say, well, you can't have kids, you're too old, or you've already got 8 kids, you don't need any more. So women need a safe place to come and be heard. So here's where many people don't have any idea what we do. Most people know that we do pregnancy tests and ultrasounds. That's pretty typical for a pregnancy clinic. But we have grown to offer so many more services thanks to the generosity of our community. So we do lab quality pregnancy testing, which they're very, very accurate. You never know what you're going to get when you buy one off the shelf at the grocery store. You know, maybe it's been sitting there a long time, it's been in heat, cold, whatever. So we offer what's called lab quality pregnancy testing. We do limited obstetric ultrasound, and I'll explain what that means in a few moments. We now offer the abortion pill reversal. That's huge. It's been around for ages. People, you know, there's a lot of narrative against it right now. Bottom line, it's basically the same protocol they give a woman who's in the process of miscarrying. It's a high dose of progesterone therapy. If a woman takes the first pill, so it's not a pill. This abortion pill that you hear about, it's a series. The first pill stops progesterone production, which feeds the baby, so the baby dies. The second series of pills puts her in labor so she delivers her baby. So if a woman takes that first pill, there's a high statistic of women that swallow that first pill and they go, oh my gosh, what have I done? If they get to us fast enough, or anybody that offers this, especially within 48 hours, we can put her on a heavy progesterone regimen. Same thing they've been doing for years to save miscarriages. And it's got about a 68% rate of saving that baby. And there's plenty of testimonials out there. We are extremely excited to be offering this service now. We haven't had anybody call us yet, but we're here and we're ready. We've got the connection with the pharmacy. We've got our medical directors and OBGYN. We've got our people on call. If somebody calls us, you know, Saturday night at 10 o'clock, we'll be there for her. We also do STD and STI testing, sexual transmitted infections and diseases. We had to kind of add those two because people don't understand. That's really important for a pregnant woman. You know, if she goes to her doctor, they're going to do that test anyway. We can offer it for free, but the earlier something like that is caught, is safer for her and for her baby. There's a lot of things that can happen if you have one of these during pregnancy that's bad. Baby could die, have deformities. So that's a new program. We've been offering that, I think, about 3, maybe 4 years. We also have a certified lactation consultant. So when we have somebody coming through our doors and walking with us through their pregnancy, we reach out about 8 weeks before the baby's born, and we want to start educating her. You would be surprised at how many of these young women don't know how to breastfeed their babies. I hear so many young women come in and say, well, my baby's not getting anything, my milk didn't come in. Excuse me, I know there's men in the room, but you know, it takes 4 or 5 days after you have a baby. And these women panic. So we want to educate them before the baby comes. And that's been a huge blessing. hey, when your finances are tough, breast milk is perfect for your baby and it's free. So we offer that. We also have childhood development screeners. So we can do milestone checks for babies from newborn all the way up to age 5. And this is a huge service for young moms who might not be able to afford this. And I'm hearing some pediatricians don't even offer this anymore. I just heard that. I don't have statistics. But it's nice to be able to offer this free to our young mamas. You know, if you've got a little one that's a year old that's not recognizing himself in the mirror, or you've got a 2-year-old that can't stack blocks, or you know, they test them for things like, can they pick up Cheerios with their 2 fingers? They just check all these normal milestones. And then if they lag behind, there's like a black, white, and gray area. And if they're in the gray area, the nurse will give them some tasks and say, go home for 30 days or 60 days and work on this with your baby, and then come back and we'll reassess. Now, if they're still assessed and lower than they should, we can get them connected to specialists in the community for free. So that's been, we've had a couple of babies with some things diagnosed thanks to those services. We had a little guy that wasn't making eye contact with his mom, and we were thinking maybe, you know, autism or, you know, what's going on, because he was just kind of, you know, not really connecting. Great little boy. Turns out he couldn't see. And so, you know, here he is, this little tiny baby with these glasses on. I think that's amazing that an eye doctor could figure that. I mean, he can't read the chart, but anyway, to be able to offer that to a mom for free, that's amazing. So that's on our medical side. Now on the support and resources side of what we do, we have an extensive education program. It's a streaming program, and so they're always updating the classes. None of them get out of date or corny or cheesy. Back in the day, we used to have these DVDs and workbooks, and you know, we would kind of say, well, you know, the clothes are out of style, but the information's good. These are all peer tested, peer reviewed, and they're also reviewed for the knowledge gained through watching the videos. So they do a pre-test and a post-test. And we have all kinds of lessons regarding pregnancy, childbirth, parenting. There's life skills. There's healing from abuse, healing from trauma. There's fatherhood. There's how to buy a car, how to stay out of debt, you name it. We want to do life with these people and help them have a healthy launch to their family. So there's several hundred classes in that, and it's a streaming service, so we can also, if somebody can't come in, we can send it to them via text, or they can watch it on their computer at home, and they still get the points. They earn points for doing the education with us, and they spend their points in our little store, which I'll show you in a minute. We do have pregnancy loss, healing, and support for abortion and miscarriage. I don't know if any of you guys know this statistic, but even in the church, 1 in 4 women has had an abortion. And I can guarantee you there are some of you in this room. And women carry that into their old age sometime. And you know, if you know you've been saved by Jesus, you've been born again, you know what the Bible says, you know, that he forgets our sin as far as the east is from the west. I know I'm forgiven, but something's still not right. There's healing to be had, and we offer a program called Forgiven and Set Free, and it's an 8-week support group, or we have advocates that can do that one-on-one. So we have one coming up soon. I forget the dates. It's on our website. But if any of you know anyone that could benefit from that, we do offer that. We have a memorial garden, and we can do little stones of remembrance. We also have a counselor that volunteers for us, and she's a grief counselor, and she works with women who've had miscarriage or infant loss. And so we want to support people that have had a pregnancy loss in any way. We do have some lessons and advocates trained to walk with people who have suffered sexual abuse, and we also have other community resources to help women. And you'd be surprised how many women come into us and they have these interesting relationships that we learn about, and they don't think it's abuse, they just think it's normal. And so we can help them identify that. We can help them to identify potential abuse just because the way he talks to her, things like that. We have a children's boutique. We have a beautiful store in our clinic. It's not just a closet, it's a little store, all things baby. And we have clothes and diapers and wipes and pacifiers and shoes, I mean, all things baby. So when clients come in and do education with us, whether it's the mother or the father or both, they earn points, and those points are same as cash. And we like to tell people, save your money, pay your bills, we'll support your baby. You can get all your baby goods for free from us. We also have a gently used in our children's boutique, and we have amazing volunteers that wash and put out, everything's laundered. And we want our people that come in for help to have dignity. We don't give them old torn things or things with even a tiny stain. We have volunteers that go through and put out the nicest things. They look like they're brand new. And we take used items too, not just clothes. But anybody can walk in off the street, even if they're not a patient or client, and we'll give them a bag and say, go fill the bag. Anything in there that's gently used you can have for free. Oh, I love this one. Well, next I'll say community referrals. We are connected with so many people in the community. We really want to help our clients. If we can't help them, we'll find someone who will. The next subject on here is benevolence support. We created a benevolence program about 3 years ago, and it has been very well funded. I've learned the hearts of people in the community to support women and men in situations where we can't help them in the clinic. And I have several stories that I love to tell, but about an hour before I came here today, I was able to pay off one of our patients' midwife bills. And it was $2,300 or $2,900 is what she still owed. And here's the deal. She's struggling with an abusive husband. She's struggling with all that. I can't even imagine what she's going through with him. But her car broke down, and she's behind on things. And you know, that's a lot of stress for a young mama. You know, she's about halfway through her pregnancy, and you should have, I mean, when I called her midwife and made the arrangements, her midwife started to cry. And then her advocate just texted me as I walked in here today, and she said that this, you know, her client was crying and so thankful. But, you know, we want to help people so they can have healthy, as stress-free as possible. Life's hard out there. Money's tight. So we're very proud of our benevolence program. We've helped people buy cars. We've got a little gal that, you know, the whole world told her she should have aborted her baby because her baby was conceived in rape. That's a lie. Trauma on top of trauma. That's not going to take away what happened to her. She chose life for that baby. She was living in her car for a while, and now, you know, then she ended up in kind of not a great situation, but she had shelter. But she was going to school and working 2 jobs, and when they come in our clinic, the love between that mama and that baby are intangible. Tangible, not intangible, sorry. Anyway, her car broke down. Well, what's she gonna do? She's gotta support herself and her baby, so we helped buy her a car. So all the information you hear out there from the other side that hates us, all we want to do is save the baby, throw them a diaper and say have a good life. That's not at all what we do. We want to do life and walk with these people and help them have a successful start. So we now have a thriving men's program. We've been trying to get it going for years, and last year my board graciously allowed me to hire a man on staff to run the men's program, and it has taken off. We know that he is not just the guy in the lobby. You know, it's not a woman's choice. He's a dad. And when you say it's a woman's choice, number one, you take away his voice. You don't know how many guys will come in and say, well, you know, I don't really have any say, whatever she wants to do. No, this is your child. You have a voice. You have a right. And you need to tell her you want this child. And guys go, oh, I could do that? The other thing it does, when you say it's a woman's choice, it totally strips him of any responsibility. There are the guys out there that say, well, it's not my problem. So we want to come alongside these young guys, and especially in today's day, we have a lot of broken families. We have some of these young men, these young dads coming in that didn't have a good father. They don't have the first idea, the first clue how to take care of a baby, how to support his wife or his partner at the time. Of course, we want to encourage marriage, and we try. We don't want to hit them over the head with that, or they'll never come back. But of course, we're Christ-centered. We want to do it by God's design, and so we lean toward that. But we have a Dr. Dad and Healthy Dad program that teaches them things like how to make her a smoothie when she's pregnant, take her a healthy snack, offer to do the dishes for her, tell her to go take a nap and go take some of the burden off of her. How to swaddle a baby, how to put on a diaper, just basic things. And then the next step up from that healthy dad goes into more practical things like how to balance work and family. So we've seen great success. We had our first graduation back in May. We graduated 20 guys from that program. We've got our next one in October. We're going to have 20 more. So we're very proud of that and very thankful that I have been able to hire a man to run that program. I don't know how to train men or take men clients into rooms and talk to them about being a dad, so we needed a guy on staff. And then we do have a healthy relationships program. We have a community health nurse who goes out in the schools and teaches healthy relationships. This is not sex ed, which is typically sponsored by Planned Parenthood for the purpose of selling abortions. You know, they tell them how to do it, they give them the tools to do it, and then they know that when they get pregnant, they're going to come in for an abortion. We want to encourage kids to have healthy relationships, not just boy-girl relationships, but gosh, how to have a relationship with a friend that's not on your phone, how to take a walk, how to go whatever, feed the ducks, whatever, how to just go back in time and learn how to have a relationship with a person. So, we haven't been able to get in a lot of schools. We've gotten into some Rathdrum schools that keep inviting us back. But we do host some of these at our clinic. If you guys know any young people that want healthy relationship training, we can do youth groups, homeschool groups, anybody. We'll do it in the clinic. All right, that was long, but I really am proud of all of our services. We've come a long way from just doing pregnancy tests and handing out diapers. So I told you earlier I'd explain limited obstetric ultrasound. Does anybody know why it's so important for a young pregnant woman to get an ultrasound? Say it.
See the heartbeat.
Yep, everybody in the room said the same thing. See the baby, see the heartbeat makes it real. Absolutely. 80-something% of women who see the baby choose life. We know that, right? Our nurses are trained. We do not have full-on registered sonographers like you would get, go get a sonogram at the hospital for your heart or something. But our nurses are trained in limited obstetric ultrasound, and they are trained to look for 3 things. They look for the placement of the baby to make sure the baby's in the uterus. This is for her health and safety. This is very important, especially now that the abortion pill is on the rise. If a woman takes the abortion pill, it's not going to work if she's got an ectopic pregnancy. That pregnancy will continue to grow, and she and the baby will likely both die. It's for her health and safety that she has that ultrasound to prove that the baby is in the uterus. And the other thing is, we can see the heartbeat and prove that the baby is viable. Now, why would you go spend all this money or take this harmful drug if you're not even pregnant? 25%, around 25% of early pregnancies end naturally in miscarriage. So we did an early ultrasound, and if that baby hasn't made it, then she's going to naturally miscarry. So she needs to know that. The other thing that's important for her health and safety is to know the gestational age of that baby. The abortion pill is FDA approved up to 10 weeks. I'm not going to say safe, but half the women that come in don't know their cycle. They don't know how far along they are. They just guess. If she's 15, 20 weeks along and she takes this abortion pill, it could be very harmful. The risks go through the roof, and the effectiveness starts to go down after 10 weeks. So to know the placement of the baby, to get the heartbeat, and to measure the gestational age is extremely important for her own health and safety. So now you guys know something new. I think everybody in the room said, see the baby, hear the heartbeat. Yes, it can change your heart when you see the baby up there. But if you're considering the abortion pill, which is the new thing that we're dealing with now, it is critical that she understands. And when she comes in and has that ultrasound, it gives us the opportunity to educate her. We do options counseling. That means when you're pregnant, you have 3 options. You can carry and parent, you can adopt, or you can abort. We want her to understand her options. And some little scared gal at midnight in her room on her phone without anybody to guide her is going to go online and order the abortion pill, and someone's going to send it to her, and she doesn't know what she's doing. So we are big on education, and we want them to understand Whatever procedure they are considering, we educate them medically on what that's going to do. And it's very eye-opening. It's not just like taking a pill and it's all over.
Vicki, Pastor, you described what happens when they do take the pill and how frightened they get and they look in the toilet, things like that. Can you address that?
Sure. Okay, you guys want the truth? I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to hold things back, and I'm going to be as nice as I can. I'm going to tell you about the abortion pill. And I was going to talk about, I do have a slide later about that, but I'll talk about the pill now, and we'll get to the other thing later. So when Roe v. Wade was overturned 4 years ago, Idaho went through the roof. Yay, abortion's gone in our state. Yay, yay, yay. No, it's not. The abortion clinics are closed. Abortion pills are through the roof. And women are going online, and not to mention men, traffickers, boyfriends that want to have them to put in their girls' drink. Anybody can get the abortion pill online. And so abortion accounts, I've heard statistics anywhere from 65 to 73% of all abortions now. So abortion is alive and well in our state via the pill. And the legislation, it is so complicated trying to make it illegal to mail abortion pills across the state line. It's very complicated, and I'm not smart enough in the law, but we have an attorney on our board that works for Americans United for Life, and he tells us stuff. And good luck getting those laws passed that makes it illegal to mail abortion pills into Idaho. Who do you prosecute and all that? So anyway, it is a regimen. It's not, they call it the abortion pill. It's a series of pills. I told you earlier, the first pill stops progesterone so the baby dies. The second pill, she goes into labor and, delivers her dead baby into the toilet. That's part of the education that we do. We want to say, has anyone ever told you what you're going to experience? Have you thought about what you're going to do when this happens? Are you going to pick up your baby? Or are you going to flush your baby? I'm sorry, this is hard. I'm hearing people gasp me, but the truth needs to be told by us. The other side has been telling their truth for so long, and it's lies, but they count on us as these sweet little Christian pregnancy centers just go, oh, but we love our girls. No, maybe I'm different than a lot of people, but I'm out on the warpath trying to educate the public on what's going on in our state. People don't have a clue this is going on. And there's all this stuff about how the abortion pill reversal is not safe and how the abortion pill is completely safe. It is a lie from the pit of you-know-where. So that's the abortion pill, and that is the majority, and abortions are rising in our state because of that. Okay, I meant to talk about that later, but thank you. I'm going to go back to finish up our services, and then we'll do a little bit more. So that was all about the importance of the ultrasound. And see, now that you understand the process of how the pill works, not to mention the surgical abortions, but now that the pill is the main way women get an abortion, it is critical that she knows these three things for her own safety. So if you walk out of here with some new information today, because I heard everybody in this room, oh, they'll keep their baby when they see the heartbeat. That's true, but now you know another reason. It's for her safety. I spoke a little bit about this. Bright Course is the name of our curriculum, and of course they earn the points and they shop at our boutique, but we also have a program. If they work the program, it's lessons about safety, car seat safety, preventing sexual abuse, shaken baby syndrome, stuff like that. They will get a free pack and play and a baby monitor and a car seat, and we know those are crucial items. You can't leave the hospital without a car seat, and you've got to have a safe place for baby, and they're very expensive.
With car seats, you can't donate them.
You can't donate one if it's out of the box. And you can donate them, but it's illegal for us to give them out. There's regulations because they have expiration dates, and if it has ever been used, there's no guarantee that it's completely safe or hadn't been in an accident somewhere.
And companies don't want liability.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're not safe.
It doesn't mean that they're not safe. So what I tell people, I love it when I have a grandma come in and she goes, this has been in my back car and I've only had my grandson in it 3 times. Can I donate it? And I know it's brand new and it's perfect and it's wonderful. So don't be offended when you get turned down. We can't. It's against the law for us to give those out because we can't guarantee to the person we give it to that it's safe. However, what I will tell people, give it to somebody, and then tell them to call Safe Start Northwest. It's an organization locally that does car seat safety checks and teaches you how to install them. They can check for expiration, and then if you can't afford to get a new car seat, they'll replace it for you. So we try and facilitate that, but we just can't take them. So I hope you understand it's not an insult that we don't want your used things. We can't take cribs either for the same reason. Talked a little bit about our men's program. Those are two of our recent graduates. And people love stories. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, this was our first graduation, and the older guy started ministering to the younger guy. We just stepped back and let him talk. He said, some of us grew up with really bad dads, and as a Christian, a lot of times, I wish I could remember his exact words, but children, fathers are supposed to represent the image of God to their children. And when you've got a bad dad that doesn't love you the way he should or doesn't protect you the way he should, a child can grow up and think that that's who God is, and God's not a good God. And I don't know how to put it the way he put it, but I'm loving watching this older guy tell this younger guy this whole story about why it's important to be a really good father to your baby. So we're so excited about this program and have our next graduation in September. I already talked about the healing and support. I already talked about that. I kind of went down the list and talked about all this. These are just some statistics. We had about 2,100 appointments last year. Now, a lot of that is repeat. We had, we had 249 pregnancy tests, 234 ultrasounds last year, and out of 234 ultrasounds, we had 220 fathers present at that ultrasound.
Wow.
We've started doing that since we started the men's program. We invite him into that appointment. Hey, this is your baby. Come see your baby. It's been quite successful. And the bond between the mother and the father when they know we're doing this together. We had a young gal in a few weeks ago who wanted an abortion. Her boyfriend came in and saw that baby, and he said, this wasn't in our plans, but we're in this. Let's do it. So remember, it's the fear, and in that, the top person that she counts on for support is the father of that baby. So we've seen so many of those circumstances where we involve the father. It starts a family from where it should start in the very beginning. And we say that 80% of our workforce is volunteers. We cannot do what we do. We run so tight. We have a very tight budget, and we have 17 on staff. So we really depend on our volunteers, and there's no job too small. Of course, we have volunteer advocates. They come in every week like a job. Their day is Tuesday, and they're there to meet with clients. We have nurses that do the same thing. But we also have people that come in on call and stuff envelopes. We have our community events where we do fundraisers. We've got people that go out and procure items for auction. We have people that come and put together auction baskets or do administrative things. So we really, really value our volunteers. Can't do it without them. Now, if you guys are prayer warriors and if you're QR code savvy, you can scan this, or there's brochures on your table, and I believe there's a QR code in there as well. This is our prayer chain. Are any of you on our prayer chain? Nobody in this room? So you can sign yourself up, you can sign yourself out. We don't spam you, we don't, it's just a prayer chain. And at the end of each one, there's an opt-out if you want to stop. And only God is going to know that you did that. So when we are in an appointment with a woman that's in a difficult situation, maybe she's considering abortion, or maybe she's telling us that her boyfriend's beating her up. I don't know. We can just, all we do is push a button, boom. And we have over 500 prayer partners. You will all get a text on your phone in the moment that will say something like, please pray for Advocate Rebecca, who's meeting with a woman considering abortion, like right now. And if you stop what you're doing and pray, there's a power in prayer. So we love this option. And like I said, you can sign yourself in, sign yourself out. So we don't spam anybody or send out anything on there.
If anybody thinks that prayer doesn't work, there was a double-blind study for hospital people. Some were prayed for and some were not. Some knew they were being prayed for. Mm-hmm. And some did not know that they were being prayed for. And the people who did not even know they were being prayed for recovered?
Well, my God tells me, so that's all I need to know. And so we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. I take no money, I get no kickbacks, they don't even know that I do this. There is a company, prolifeflag.com, a website, if you guys are interested. Everybody knows what the rainbow flag means, right? Start going up all over the place. Well, we have a pro-life flag. It's been out on the market a few years, and I believe our clinic is the first place in Idaho to even get one. They're not expensive. We have one as big as our American flag, but you can get little ones. You can get the garden flags, window decals. Right now they've got some things like, coffee tumblers and all kinds of things. But we would love it if this symbol would get out around just like the rainbow flag, and people would go, I know what that is. And if you look closely, you've got blue and pink for boy and girl. You've got the feet. You've got the love of the mama in the middle. Her hands. Now, is that her hands holding her baby, her tummy? Or is that like God's hands holding the children in the world? So we love this, and I just like to tell people about it. This is a 9-minute testimonial. Maybe I'll skip it, because I...
Yeah, is it 9 minutes on there, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll take us over.
Too long.
Okay, so Carla, if I keep going, we're going to skip the video?
And then she's got brochures, yeah.
Yeah, I've got. It's a beautiful testimonial, and I like to show it because she's a very solid Christian woman, and she made a mistake. And I don't want anybody thinking that women that accidentally, well, not accidentally, they have an unintended pregnancy. It's not, that girl. It's not the runaway that's on drugs. It can happen to anybody. And her testimony is so beautiful about how God redeemed her and gave her life through the son, even though the boyfriend ditched her and all that. So
Is it on your website?
It's on our website. Oh, I think so. They've made so many changes to our website. Anyway, I wanted to show you this because it is extremely powerful. The number of abortion clinics in Idaho, 832,052. What? Well, that was based on the census. They did a lookup to how many mailboxes are in Idaho. And that was, I think, a couple of years ago, 2004. Anyway, with the abortion pill that I was telling you about, every mailbox is now an abortion clinic. And every frightened woman alone in her bathroom with no education, no information, she is her own abortionist. And you think about the mental health issues that are going to be coming forward from this, already are. It may be hard to wrap your head around what I'm going to say. If a woman goes in and has a surgical abortion, in her mind, in the moment, someone is doing that to her. When she takes that pill and realizes what she's done, now she's done it to herself, and she's killed her own baby. Now, if she chooses a surgical abortion, of course she made that choice, but do you see in your head when you're in fear, he did it to me versus I did it to myself? So this is so powerful to understand. Since abortion was outlawed in our state, we have all this going on. Now we've gone online and ordered abortion pills just to see what would happen. We have an amazing display. If you guys come to our fall fundraiser, you'll see it. It's a mailbox and it's got samples from the package. But it comes with two little Ziploc pouches about this big. One says MS, one says MF. It comes with a trifold brochure on a piece of white printer paper, printed in grayscale that's all crooked like some kid did it. And it just says, oh, you take this pill for a couple of hours and then you start taking this pill and then you'll start bleeding, and they send a couple of pads in there and they send a little trial package to Advil. They send her some raspberry tea. It just looks like it's put together with such love. But it says, if you bleed more than such and such for this amount of time, go immediately to the emergency room. Do not tell them you took this drug. It is undetectable. They will treat you for a miscarriage. So the narrative is changing. Women are being trained that I'm having a miscarriage, but they're being told to lie. Some of these are black market pills. Some of these are, you don't know where these pills are coming from, but this is what they're being told. It's all about keeping it secret. So that's the importance of them coming to us. is that we can speak truth and we can educate them of what this really is. We don't coerce or pressure anybody. We tell them God's design or whatever, but they're free to leave, they're free to make their own choices, but we want them to make an informed choice. My time is up. So, if you go to the doctor to have anything done, anything minor, have a mole removed, you got to sign all these papers, I could die, Maybe not that extreme, but that's what we do. We go over risks and benefits. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I was going to promote this, but this is what Beverly's all about, so never mind. And then these QR codes, Friends of Open Arms is our Facebook page where you can learn about what's going on in the moment. We have an Instagram page, and then our website on the bottom, friendsofopenarms.com. I highly encourage you guys. I think you can get to those from your little brochure as well to stay connected with us. You can find out about our fall event and what all's going on with us. Thank you very much.